All right, thanks for joining me today on my channel. This is Discovering My Dividends, and well, I'm the 1% investor. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So today's stock of the day is actually three stocks, and I'm not actually looking for a stock for, well, the account that I'm doing for this channel. So strangely enough, I don't have any cash flow. I don't know if that's strange because it seems to have been a little bit of a hiccup I've been in for about 2 months, actually 3 now, where I'm just kind of trickling and I'm not getting any punch really. That's not to complain, but that's just the way it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop over to Yahoo. We're going to take a look at the three stocks that I picked. Remember, I'm not an advisor, so this is not advice. If you're looking for stocks for your own portfolio, do your own research, do your own due diligence, make sure it's right for what you are doing. Okay, so let's start off with ATD, and that's Alimentation Couche-Tard, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I say it. And if I look at it over the last year, you can see it's at $69.05 right now, and that's down. More recently, it's had a couple little plateaus and then dropped down further, and so that's kind of been going on for about a week, and then there was a plateau for a month, and about 3 months ago or 2 months ago it was down, so it had gone up and then back down. So it kind of does this little thing, and if you look over the year, it's got some volatility. The reason I like it, it is what I consider a growth stock, even though it's pretty flat right now. They do have fairly decent cash flows, so they've been able to increase their dividend on a regular basis, and there's room to keep increasing that dividend. It's not really high, it's at 1.12%, but in the past it's been kind of a growth stock. So prior to 2 years, if we look at 5 years, 10 years, it's kind of been creeping its way up. They do have a growth mindset. They're trying to buy other companies and expand their business. So that is, I think, encouraging. They're in a good cash flow position. They try not to carry a lot of debt, and so they're good. So they're one of the picks that I have for today. And then let's go to my next pick, which is where did it go? There we go, EQB. Now EQB has been going down here this last little bit over the year, and if I look at it over the last week, it's kind of had a little bit of a climb, but then of course today it's down a little bit. But if I look at it over the year, or the last 3 months, even the last 3 months, it's had a down period. So I'd say overall it is potentially hitting a low. Now, that doesn't mean it can't go any lower, but in my opinion, again, this is one of those stocks that's a growth stock. And of course, because it's a growth stock, it's got potential. They are looking to expand. They're wanting to get more of the market share, take more of the big bank or old bank type of investor and include that in their bank. And they're new, right? They're different, right? They're part of that new wave. So whether that's going to keep expanding now or not, who knows? But they've done a fairly good job previously of kind of building. But of course, you can see there's ups and downs. So they are strong enough now that looks like they might have, kind of a foothold, but you never know. Anyways, I like them. I think where they are right now, there's room to go up. And both of those stocks, when I've done my research, I feel like they're undervalued. So that's good. Now let's go to my third one, which of course I had yesterday's stock of the day. It is down another 1% today, which is bad for the stocks that I bought yesterday. Actually, I bought and then I sold and then I bought again. I thought it might kind of pop, but it didn't, so I'm holding another few shares of that. But I believe this is a good stock. It's sitting at 10.65% for the dividend. It's a monthly dividend, and the problem with this one is if the interest rates go up, it is very tight with its cash flow, which meaning that if they have to pay more in interest, they're going to have less for dividends. So that might become a problem. Their earnings per share is positive. there's some good metrics. I do believe they were slightly undervalued prior to the drop, so which means I believe this is kind of maybe just a little bit of a nervous thing right now with the bigger investors, so they're getting rid of some. Potentially I am wrong with that, but I do like the trajectory here where it's kind of near its previous low, and there's room for it to drop more, but positively it is, like I said, most likely undervalued and has room to grow. Interest rates are most likely going to come down. So TF is another good one to kind of play with now because it's going to have that up and down thing. There are a few other stocks out there that I did kind of come across that are interesting. So there's not really any shortage of stocks that have had dips. Some of them had been way higher recently, and that is not a good. That's not good. So let's go ahead and stop that recording there. So yeah, stocks that have been way high and it's just come down 3 to 5%, and for them to get back to their previous high, not the most recent one, the one prior to that, they got to come down probably like 6-7%, and to get to the previous low probably like 10 to 15%. Yeah, those ones I don't necessarily latch onto if they've just had like this unbelievable year and then like nothing else like it. So a lot more research has to go into those for me. All right, so those are my 3 stocks for today. They're going into my TFSA. If you're from Canada and you don't have a TFSA, get one. It's usually important, I think, for your long-term investing. Check the rules. You can't day trade in it. I know that much. And there are a lot of trading rules. So make sure when you get one, you're using it properly. Primarily a buy low, sell high type of scenario. And if you're day trading, it is not going to be necessarily positive for you. So maybe more of a long-term swing trade or even a partial trading kind of scenario. So different strategy, but I was still looking. I like having multiple accounts because it keeps me kind of always looking and researching stocks that I want to use. So that's the story for the stock of the day. I hope you'll click subscribe and like, follow along, and we'll see you for the next video.